Hi friends, today's video is entitled Don't Fight Your Mind, and this is prompted from a comment I got last week on the live stream meditation that I was running, where a friend of mine that I know in real life was commenting that he has such a hard time fighting against his ADD when he was meditating. And the first thought that I had was, why fight against your ADD? Like, why fight against your own mind? It is what it is. And so what I said to him is that when we sit with all things that are present, and that includes us. And so if you feel like ADD means that your mind is noisy, sit zazen with a noisy mind. Sit, be fully present, come back when if you feel like you drifted off, and if coming back is a big part of your zazen experience, that's okay. You know, everybody is beautiful and perfect just as they are. Like, you are fully what you are. And this idea that we have to be something else to meditate correctly, it's super pervasive and it's super harmful. My teacher, Daijaku Roshi, talks all the time about running into people in the community, like in the grocery store, that come up to her or her partner and say, oh, I haven't been back to the temple because I just can't meditate because my mind is noisy. And they never give these people a hard time. They're always like, well, we understand. But people, these are ideas you have about what some standard you set yourself up against in your own mind. Everybody has thoughts. I've been meditating for 27 years this year, and thoughts arise during zazen. My teacher has been ordained since 1985 and has been practicing since before that, so about 50 years, and thoughts arise for her. Her teacher, who recently passed away in his late 90s, had thoughts. Like, that's what the human mind does. And we don't know what the experience of other people is. All we know is our experience, and that's our experience. So if you have noisy zazen, sit with noisy zazen. If you have quiet zazen, sit with quiet zazen. But this idea that we have to hold ourselves up against some weird standard, it's pretty harmful. And the thing is that zazen is not focused practice. It is not concentration practice. Your ability to focus, your ability to concentrate might improve as you practice constantly being present with what is, but that's not the point. And so if you approach zazen with this idea that it's concentration practice, frankly, there are other things that could be better for that. There are concentration practices and focus practices that you could engage in, both styles of meditation and not styles of meditation, martial arts, sports, reading, all kinds of stuff that you could use for focus practice, but that's not what meditation is. Meditation does not mean you need to feel quiet all the time. It doesn't mean that you need to feel peaceful all the time. In fact, you won't. I can guarantee it. One teacher was quoted as saying that zazen is like turning the garbage disposal on backwards. All the stuff is going to come up eventually. And it's true. If you sit long enough, you will experience all the things. You will feel serene and quiet, but you will also feel angry, horny, bored, distracted, peaceful. Any human experience you can think of will occur during zazen if you sit zazen long enough. It just is what it is. It is true that over the years, settled periods tend to occur more frequently, but that's kind of a byproduct. We're not trying to create an empty mind. We're trying to not engage with our thoughts when we sit. So we sit down, and if a thought arises, we do our best to allow it to go. And if we find that we did get caught up in it, when we're done, when we realize that, we come back, and we are present with our body that is breathing, that is hearing, that is seeing, with the sound of birds or cars, depending on where you are. We just keep coming back. And even if you are coming to zazen with this idea that I would like to be more quiet or more focused, this idea of fighting against your mind is still not super healthy. If we relate this to like lifting weights, for example, right? I'm going to lift weights because I want to get stronger. And if I then, I can lift a weight for 10 times, and I do that a lot, and then eventually I can lift it for 12, and then I add a little bit more weight. All good. But if I hate my muscles, if I think that I'm fighting against my muscles, if I'm trying to turn my muscles into hydraulic pistons because I think that that's better, do you see how that's not super realistic or super healthy or super helpful, right? Fighting against your muscles is not really way we want to go about it. And wishing our muscles were something else, like hydraulic pistons, again, isn't really a way to go about it, right? So if you are a neurodivergent person, this person was talking about ADHD, but if you're a neurodivergent person, spending your time meditating wishing you were something else is kind of pointless and potentially harmful. It's certainly not healthy. And it ignores the fact that when we say we are all Buddha nature, that means that you are Buddha nature. You are Buddha. You are beautiful and perfect as you are. Shunryu Suzuki is quoted as saying, "You're perfect as you are, and you need a lot of work." And this sounds maybe like counterintuitive, but it's not. You are exactly who and what you are. You are perfectly who and what you are. Can we work on things? Should we work on things? Yes. But that doesn't negate the fact that you are a perfect expression of who and what you are in this moment. There's a metaphor I like to use. It's the three-legged table metaphor. A three-legged table, and in this case we're talking about a four-legged table that has a table like broken off. So a broken three-legged table is perfectly a broken three-legged table. It is exactly what it is. It is perfectly complete as a broken three-legged table. It is a perfect expression of a broken three-legged table. It is only our ideas of what that table should be, or how that table should serve us, or what it could be, or what it used to be. It's only our ideas that separate it from the fact, or not even separate, but separate our perception of it from this is a perfect expression. This is a perfectly complete three-legged table. But we apply ideas and external standards that make us think that it is imperfect and incomplete. It's exactly what it is. But, well, it's not what I want, or it's not going to serve me in the way I want, or it's not what I think it used to be, or it's not like that other table over there, right? We have this comparison and these ideas and these standards and how is it going to serve me. But the thing itself is a perfectly complete expression of what it is. You are a perfectly complete expression of what you are. Now, we can work on being more patient and more kind, but it's really important to understand, to try to feel as best you can that you are Buddha, right? Not some other version of you, right? And maybe we need to work on expressing that in the world. That's what practice is. Practice is helping us express this in the world. But if you are neurodivergent, if you have ADHD, if you are impatient, if you are cranky, you are a perfect expression of that neurodivergent, cranky human. You're perfect, and we have a lot of work to do. But I think it's really important that we don't set ourselves up with these standards where we're fighting against our own mind or fighting against who and what we are. It's not helpful. So if you are neurodivergent or ADHD or just cranky, sit fully, completely with who and what you are. Understand that who and what you are is Buddha. Probably we'll get more patient and more settled as we go, and that's great. But don't set up standards that you then bash yourself into. It's kind of like a cause of self-harm, and at worst and at best, it's just not helpful. It doesn't accomplish anything. So if you sit Zazen with a busy mind, sit Zazen with a busy mind. That's a hell of a lot better than not sitting Zazen at all. And if that's who you are that day, because we're all change, right? We're all subject to change. That's okay. Sit Zazen with a busy mind. Maybe tomorrow you sit Zazen with a quiet mind. Maybe you don't, but it's okay. The important thing is sit Zazen and try to have patience and compassion for who and what you are in this moment, because you are perfect and beautiful as you are, and we're all working on stuff together. All right. I hope that's helpful. Have a good one.